Welcome to the Future Lab, everyone. I'm your host, Matthew, and today we're tackling a really exciting development in materials science, the Open Catalyst Experiments 2024 dataset, or OCx24 for short. This research directly addresses a major hurdle in accelerating the discovery of new catalysts. For years, researchers have relied on computational models, often powered by AI, to predict the performance of potential catalysts. But there's been a significant gap between what these models predict and what actually happens in the lab. It's like having a great map, but it doesn't quite align with the actual terrain. This makes the whole process of catalyst discovery slow, expensive, and frustratingly inefficient. OCx24 aims to change that. It's a massive, meticulously curated dataset that's bringing a much-needed level of precision to the field. The quest for efficient and sustainable catalysts is crucial, especially when we consider the urgent need to address climate change. Green hydrogen production and CO2 upcycling are two areas that would benefit enormously from breakthroughs in catalyst design. Current methods, though, are remarkably slow, often leading to dead ends and wasted resources. And here's a fun fact: the script for this episode was partially generated using an advanced AI language model. It's a testament to how AI is transforming not just scientific research, but also the way we create content itself. Pretty meta, right? So, what exactly is the roadmap for today's episode? First, we'll lay out the primary objective of the OCx24 research. Then, we'll dive deep into the fascinating methods used, both the experimental and computational sides. After that, we'll explore the real-world implications and potential applications of this monumental work. Finally, we'll wrap things up with the key conclusions and what we can expect to see next in this rapidly evolving field. Let's get into the heart of this research. The paper, Open Catalyst Experiments 2024, OCx24, Bridging Experiments and Computational Models, by Abed et al., tackles a critical issue in materials science. The core problem is this persistent disconnect between theoretical predictions from AI models and what actually happens when you run experiments in the lab. It's a huge challenge, and it's incredibly costly, both in terms of time and resources. Finding new catalysts is painstaking. It's often a process of trial and error, relying heavily on the intuition and experience of experts. It's a time-consuming process, even with decades of accumulated knowledge. AI has been showing great potential to speed things up, but the accuracy of those predictions has been a major limiting factor. So, the main idea behind OCx24 is to create a truly massive dataset, a gold standard, if you will, that bridges this gap between computational predictions and experimental results. And what they've managed to do is truly remarkable. They've built the OCx24 dataset, a massive compilation of both experimental and computational data on a huge range of materials. We're talking about over 500 samples synthesized using both wet and dry methods, all rigorously characterized and tested under real-world conditions. One of their most striking findings was their model's ability to correctly identify platinum as a top performer for the hydrogen evolution reaction, or HER. What's particularly noteworthy is that they achieved this without even having any platinum data in their initial training set. This is a big deal because it demonstrates the predictive power of their approach, and hints at a potential paradigm shift in how we conduct materials science research. This leads us neatly into the next section, where we'll be examining in detail how the researchers actually managed to build and utilize this incredible dataset. It's a fascinating deep dive into both the experimental and computational methods employed in OCx24, so stay tuned. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of how the OCx24 dataset was created. It's a blend of high-throughput experimentation and AI-accelerated computation, a powerful combination. The researchers synthesized a truly impressive 572 catalyst samples. That's a huge number. They used two different synthesis methods, chemical reduction and spark ablation. This diversity in synthesis techniques is key to capturing a wider range of material properties. Each sample then underwent a rigorous characterization process, using X-ray fluorescence, or XRF, to determine the elemental composition, and X-ray diffraction, or XRD, to reveal the crystal structure and phase purity. This level of detail is crucial for making meaningful connections between the computational models and the experimental data. Following this careful characterization, the samples were then put through electrochemical testing. They were evaluated for both hydrogen evolution reactions, or HER, and CO2 reduction reactions, or CO2RR, at current densities representative of industrial-scale applications. That's critical for ensuring that the data has real-world relevance. But the story doesn't end there. The computational side is equally impressive. The team calculated adsorption energies for 6 key adsorbates for around 20,000 inorganic materials. This is an enormous computational undertaking. To achieve this massive computational feat, they leveraged adsorb ML, a sophisticated hybrid approach which combines machine learning potentials with density functional theory, or DFT calculations. This smart combination provided the computational efficiency needed to handle such a massive number of materials. The use of an automated robotic system, a ChemSpeed robot, for wet chemistry synthesis, and a VS particle nanoparticle generator for spark ablation is really interesting. This is a significant step toward realizing fully automated laboratories, dramatically accelerating the research process. This automation is a significant part of what allowed them to achieve this scale, but it wasn't all smooth sailing. They faced substantial challenges, like the high failure rate often encountered when trying to synthesize these intermetallic nanoparticles. And of course, the extensive characterization required for such a large dataset presented significant logistical hurdles. But by using clever automation at every step, they overcame these challenges. The sheer scale of OCx24 is what makes it so impactful. With this many data points, they could detect subtle correlations that would have been missed with smaller datasets. This allowed them to build strong connections between the features calculated through the computation and the outcomes seen in the experiments. This ultimately reveals powerful correlations that drive better predictive models. This detailed look at the methods used in OCx24 has shown us the complexity and sophistication behind the creation of this groundbreaking dataset. Now, let's move on to discussing the far-reaching applications and implications of this research for the field. So, what does all this mean in practical terms? What are the real-world applications of OCx24? Well, first and foremost, OCx24 provides a benchmark dataset of unprecedented quality for training and validating AI models designed to predict catalyst performance. This immediately makes it a vital resource for researchers and developers in the field. This acceleration in catalyst discovery will have a huge impact on various industries. Renewable energy technologies, like green hydrogen production and efficient CO2 recycling, will particularly benefit from better catalysts. The potential applications extend far beyond that, though, to any field that relies on high-performance catalysts. The sheer size and rigor of OCx24 are game-changers. The dataset tackles a long-standing problem, the unreliability of AI predictions when it comes to actual experimental results. By providing such a comprehensive dataset, with such meticulous testing protocols, OCx24 is raising the bar for the whole field. It shows what's achievable when you combine AI-powered computational tools with rigorous, large-scale experimental validation. Let's paint a picture of the future. Imagine AI-powered systems guiding the synthesis of entirely new catalysts with precisely tailored properties, dramatically slashing both the time and the cost associated with the discovery process. This is no longer science fiction. OCx24 brings that vision significantly closer to reality. This dataset really makes the potential of AI in materials science much more tangible, accelerating our progress toward truly autonomous research. We're not just talking about incremental improvements, this is a potential step change in how scientific research is conducted. And that leads us to our final section, where we'll summarize the key findings, discuss the next steps in this line of research, and explore what the future holds for AI-driven materials discovery. Let's recap the key takeaways from this groundbreaking research. OCx24 successfully bridges the long-standing gap between computational predictions and experimental results in catalyst design. They achieved this through a truly massive dataset, combined with a sophisticated integrated experimental and computational methodology. This involves sophisticated high-throughput synthesis, meticulous characterization using XRF and XRD, and rigorous electrochemical testing under industrially relevant conditions. The results were striking, showcasing the surprising predictive power of this approach. The model successfully identified platinum as a top performer for her, even without any platinum data in the initial training set. This highlights the power of large, well-characterized datasets in refining AI's ability to predict catalyst behavior. The researchers showed definitively that large, meticulously characterized datasets can dramatically improve AI's ability to predict catalyst performance and greatly accelerate the discovery process. This is a major step forward for the field. Looking ahead, the authors suggest some exciting avenues for future research. Expanding the OCx24 dataset even further, incorporating more intricate details of the electrochemical process into the computational models, is key. A more holistic, integrated approach will be critical for pushing the boundaries of AI-driven materials science to their full potential. So, there you have it. A deep dive into the remarkable Open Catalyst Experiments 2024. Thanks so much for joining us on the Future Lab today. And a reminder that this episode's script was partially AI-generated, a fitting reflection of the AI-driven science we've been discussing. We truly appreciate your listening and your feedback. Join us next time for another fascinating look at how AI is transforming research. Until then, stay curious.